Alright, today is June 20th and this is a video of the garden as it is today. Going into summertime here, end of spring. And these are some of my nepenthes that I grow here outdoors. Basically around except for the wintertime, of course. But spring, summer, fall, they're out here. And they do very well. They love the humidity here. And just thrive here on my porch. You can see some of the different nepenthes here. I got this one up here as well. And these are some of my canna lilies. These are Tropicana Black. They're a nice hardy canna. We're in zone 8A here, so they're fully hardy in this area. This is a Trachycarpus fortunii palm, which I planted on the 1st of August last year, 2016. And it's just thriving here. It's established itself, made it through the winter perfectly fine. Started at a 15-gallon plant, and you can see the size of that trunk down there as it's getting itself going. These are completely hardy here. You'll see them growing all around the area. I'm in North Georgia, north of Atlanta, and they are completely bulletproof. These are some bromeliads. I'm a fan of epiphytes and other interesting plants like that, and you can see they have started to flower, and they're just really interesting, fun plants to grow. And around the Trachycarpus, I've got these lilies. These were actually here when I moved. I did not remove them. I moved into this house a little over a year ago. Actually about a year and a half, I would say now. And there's also some bearded irises which were here, which I left, and they flowered in the spring, looked real nice. And now the daylilies have taken their spot. Coming around here, you can see more of the cannas. I do have a sago palm, which is sending up some new leaves there in the center, as well as a sable minor palm growing here, kind of underneath the cannas. They're kind of taking over that spot quite a bit. And this here is actually a coconut palm, which I've been growing for over a year now, well over a year. And this pot, well, I've transplanted this pot today, or not today, but this year. It hasn't been in this container the entire time since I got it. It was in a much smaller container. And around the coconut, I just have some other palms growing in some pots here. This is a small Trachycarpus and some sable minors, which are in pots because I plan on moving from this location in a year or so. So I am not going to be putting these in the ground. This is a sable Birmingham, which I planted last year, kind of later in the year, and it's established itself. You can see these new fronds here, and the new frond coming up here as well. And these older fronds are turning a bit brown, but they're going to remain on the plant until they are completely brown, as the palm will absorb those nutrients from those fronds as they are still green. And then here I have a rather large ice cream banana. This has been growing here since the spring this year, and I grew it in the spot last year too. I did store it over the winter. I dug it up out of the ground, and I did have to cut it, as you can see right here, to restart the growth this year. But it totally has taken off. It is a very large banana. It's at least 15 feet up, so it's a big plant. It was very heavy when I dug it up last year. I'm sure it'll be even heavier this year. And here I have two pineapples, which I just ripped off the top of a plant and rooted, growing in pots here. Next to them are a key lime citrus, And over here I have some Venus flytraps. They just stay out year round, no protection on them whatsoever. This is a Butia capitata, pendo palm, some sundews, and these here are some of my palm seedlings which I have collected. You have to excuse me, I got a bit of a cold. I've got Rhipidophyllum hystrix. This is a Trachycarpus. These are actually Trachycarpus here too. Those are from Banana Joe in Canada. And these are sable palmettos from Pensacola, Florida. And this is a sable minor from Monticello, Georgia. Collected seed. And this is a sable from the Bahamas. I collected seed while I was in the Bahamas. These are sables that have germinated from palms here in North Georgia. Sable palmettos that have been growing in the area for over a decade now. They've proven themselves winter hardy for this area. This is a large dwarf Cavendish banana. You can see some of the younger leaves down here have this nice variegation to them. As the banana gets older and bigger, that variegation generally starts to disappear. This is another pendo palm, Butia capitata. They are hardy for this area in select spots. I know some that have been growing here for close to 10 years or more that I'm aware of, and no winter protection, and they've survived. So if you were to put one of these in your yard and afford it some winter protection on the coldest winters, you know, they'd perform wonderfully here. This is a little Madagascar palm. This is a dwarf ladyfingers banana that I've been growing for since last year, and it's doing wonderfully in this pot. It's began to pup. It's got pups there and then two more pups on the other side. Over here I have a sago palm which I planted in the ground. It went through the winter in the ground. I did cover it on the nights that got below 20 degrees. I just threw a blanket over it with a little bucket, and it did fine. This is a Florida native cycad, and that's a snow banana, and next to it is a musabaju. Now over here is a Trachycarpus, which I rescued, and I did have to cut the trunk, as you can see, but it's come back wonderfully. So it's an interesting way to rescue a plant. You cut the top of it off and it just comes right back. It is starting to rain a little bit, but here in North Georgia that's quite common. We get these rainstorms that just blow through. What we're looking at here is an elephant ear. I did plant this late winter last year, about January or so, and it went all through the spring, all through summer, all through fall, all through winter. Don't dig it up, it just stays in the ground. And you can see it's come back and it's getting quite large. It got quite large last year. It's a real awesome plant. I'm a fan of the elephant ears. Perfectly hardy for this area. This is a bird of paradise in a pot, which I may get to flower sometime. Just having a little bit of fun with that one. Up here we have a sable minor that I planted. You can see new fronds coming up here, as well as some carnivorous plants. I like to grow all different kinds of carnivorous plants. They're just up here growing in amongst other things. That's a sable palmetto that I planted this year, and it has flowered. So it's going to be interesting to see if that does produce any seed. It's quite small to be flowering, I would think. Sable palmettos do grow around here. They are the second most hardy trunking palm next to Trachycarpus for this area. Now down here I do have that sable Birmingham, and it does form a trunk, and it is supposedly more hardy than the sable palmetto, but it is much slower growing. So carrying on a little bit, more carnivorous plants in there, and echinacea flowering. This is a Meyer lemon I've got growing in a pot here, and it did make its first lemon this year. So this is a hardy hibiscus. And coming over here, I have some gardenias in the ground. This one is a little rough looking. Could be a pH issue, but it has flowered. As well as some Pieris, Fatsia japonica, another gardenia. This is another gardenia here, which is in flower, and they're just so aromatic. That's a cast iron plant, variegated. Get a little closer to that. It's got neat little variegation to it. This is a hosta here. It's another little tiny elephant ear I planted. This is the white lava one. It should, as it matures, gets this really bright white strip down the center there. That's a leopard plant, sago palm, and some ferns there. This is another colocasia elephant ear. This one's called Hawaiian Punch. And you can see as it's getting more mature, you're starting to get some of these nice colorations here. I did plant all these plants right here in this small area here this year. That's a mimosa. It's also native to Florida. Up here by my mailbox, I have a black tie banana. It's hardy here. It'll go dormant over the winter and then reemerge in the spring. This is a teacup elephant ear, also hardy for the area. You can see new growth coming out the side there. This is a canna lily that I just planted here around with some marigolds, more canna lily, and another hardy hibiscus. And it has buds all around it. That is the swamp mallow hibiscus. It's also native to Georgia, native to the southeast. And some purple queen, which kind of behaves perennially for the area. I do need to mow my lawn. It's a little weedy right now. This is some cactus that I put in the area. This is actually eastern prickly pear, Apuntia humifusa. This is a prickly pear one of my friends from Oklahoma had sent me, and it's perfectly hardy here. And that's a real nice spiny prickly pear there. Another Rhipidophyllum hystrix, and this is a pineapple lily, which has come back for this year. I planted it last year. It went through the winter just fine outdoors in the ground. This is a looks like a little bit of mealybug right there on one of these palmetto flowers, which I got rid of. Yeah, this is the sable palmetto that I planted this year. I've been watering it quite heavily, getting this thing established so it can prepare for the first winter out this year. This is another hardy hibiscus which has flowered. I can't remember exactly what variety it is, but it's got these nice big red flowers. Totally cold hardy for here. This is a Brugmansia angel trumpet. This is just planted this year. I intend to leave it in the ground. I'm not going to bother digging it up. I might take some cuttings and root them. But generally here they do re-emerge from the ground. You don't have to bother digging them up. Some more canna lilies. And that's a foxglove with a little banana right here that I planted. This is a dwarf Orinoco banana that I am getting established there. This is an oleander, hardy red, and these do grow around in the area, and they do stay green year round, and they do make these beautiful red flowers, which have not blossomed yet on this plant. This is a calla lily, which I did not plant, but it has returned. And there's the elephant ears from the other side. But yeah, that's a bit of an update of what I've got going on in my front yard here on June 20th, 2017, heading into summer. I will make another update later on as we head through the year. But there's quite quite a few interesting plants that you're able to grow in the zone here in North Georgia. Thanks for watching.